All right, welcome to the Adventures 3 Friday podcast with your co-hosts, Katelyn and myself, JC. We're in beautiful Eureka, California, making our way down Highway 101, and the idea for the podcast was essentially to kind of give you a glimpse of like what's going on live and kind of give you a live update with what's going on with the actual YouTube channel, because oftentimes with the long form content, it's just the video takes a long time to like edit and put together. So we wanted to kind of, have a show that's not edited and is a little bit more personal.
Kind of a day in the real life, like with us right now. So
Right now, yeah.
Eureka, California.
It's probably not advised to tell your exact location, because all the super fans that we have out there, all the stalkers. But
I think we'll be all right.
yeah, I think so. It's a beautiful day today. It's Eureka's, just like the rest of California, has been hit with just some wild weather, and everyone that has been tuning into our show and they know that we're making our way down to the Pacific Coast Highway, they are always sending us weather updates of like, hey, all these roads are closed, everything's washed out, Malibu is sinking or something, and we're like 3 or 4 weeks away from anywhere in that region. And then
But we're safe so far.
yeah, so we appreciate all the updates. We are aware of the weather. Before we do leave, we check several weather sources. But it's we've kind of come to I don't want to say a crossroad, but today's episode is probably not. We were not supposed to be in Eureka for a week or a week and a half, and we ended up having to be here.
Our plans have kind of been derailed once again, and things were not left up to us in a sense. So we are just we were in kind of a waiting game.
Yeah, so way back, when we started this journey with the RV, we decided we wanted to pay cash for something. So that's what we did. And we don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to pay cash for RVs. So we went out and bought what we thought was a relatively nice used 2009 Outback from a couple that we met in Alabama. And this year has just been kind of at least 2023 was a year of tests. We did a lot of cool things, like we moved halfway across the world. We got to see most of the United States, and then we had this dream of getting into an RV. We had our engine blow up. We had our computer blow up. We had this third incident, which we're going to dive into. It just seems like we've been hit with these challenges over and over and over again, which has been very frustrating. And this particular challenge was, let's just call it insurance worthy, is what we thought. And when we got to Eureka, we discovered some significant water damage in the right rear of our RV. And
it's to the extent that we weren't sure if we should be the ones to dive into repairing. So we called our insurance and we had them come out, and that's why we're here for a little bit extra time that's unplanned. And they came out and they inspected it, and we heard back this morning.
Well, so when we got to Eureka, we were going to spend like a couple days editing videos. There was some sunshine. There were some things that we wanted to do in this town. And I was getting the rear slide brackets out, and I noticed that there was like a split in the actual wallpaper in the rear panel of the trailer. And I looked inside it and noticed some significant, like, really, really wet wood, which was like crumbling in my hand. And
it's never good in the RV world.
Yeah, so it was just pretty significant, and I didn't really know what to do. We had an incident with our right rear taillight like 3 or 4 weeks ago. So I just reported it to our insurance, and we had the assessor come out a couple of days ago. Everyone that we talked to in the RV world pretty much said that they were going to total our RV, which threw us into a whole nother loop of wondering, if they total the RV in Eureka, California, we're going to have to like move all of our stuff out of our RV. Are we going to have to buy like a little cargo trailer, or are we going to have to buy another RV here? And we don't really want to buy an RV in California because then you would have to pay California sales tax or have it essentially shipped out to the state that you are going to take possession of it and where you're going to register. Well, for us, that's Georgia. And that was just challenging. And then we kind of came up with a game plan. If that was going to happen, we kind of picked out some different models that we were going to go take a look at. And then this morning we discovered that the insurance company determined that it was a pre-existing problem before we bought the RV. And the assessor pretty much said, you got screwed. You essentially bought someone else's problem, which I'm sure we'll dive into a whole nother YouTube highly curated video of things to look out for when you buy a used RV, because we've learned a whole lot in the last week and a half of some of the mistakes we made, but mostly I made. I made some huge mistakes that I just wasn't privy to. I didn't have the knowledge. And one of the biggest mistakes that I'm sure everyone is going to say is, why didn't you get it inspected before you bought it? Well, in the used RV market, when we were buying the RVs, it was kind of a hot market. So you kind of had to jump on something, and you kind of had to make a pretty fast decision. And we made a fast and loose decision, which is now going to cost us several thousands of dollars to either repair or trade in the RV.
So it's been an emotional few days, to say the very least. I think that we are coming, we are still going to continue with our plan and continue to move down the Pacific Coast Highway. We're going to try to finish our trip.
Yeah, we're going to try and finish out season 3, depending on the weather conditions. The water damage doesn't seem like it's going to affect the RV structurally. The insurance assessor pretty much said, yeah, it looks fine for the next couple months. You should be okay. It has nothing to do with the axles, the tires. It doesn't, and our RV is an aluminum frame, so it should structurally stay together. We're in need of dry. Yeah, we're in need of dry weather, which is our biggest thing right now. Which is we need to go find some really dry weather to dry everything out, and then kind of make a few repairs, and then drag it back to Georgia. So
kind of assess the situation once it's dry, because right now it's just everything is so wet.
Everything's wet, and it's not just where we have water damage. Just that it's just. I hate to use this word, but everything's moist. Everything is just there's a lot of condensation. So we're gonna continue south for the time being. We do have a couple other options where we could essentially call this trip short, depending on the weather, and cruise back to Georgia and either repair the RV or trade it in or repair it and sell it. We don't really know what direction that's where we're going to go in.
And I mean,
hopefully south.
Definitely south, and depending on the road conditions as well, because that's going to determine on how far we can get down the Pacific Coast Highway as well. So,
yeah. So it's So on a positive note, we found a bunch of different RV models that we'd like to buy. We found one particular model that I think we're leaning towards. They're made in the United States. They are only manufactured in Georgia. We've done a bunch of research on it, but it's difficult because it's not a very old particular brand. It's only 3 years old, but it's made of plastic, and there's no wood in the entire RV. I went on a little I don't know, a rabbit hole of never wanting to ever have to deal with water damage ever again. And I found this company called Live International, and it's an RV company that literally makes RVs out of recycled plastic. It's some curated plastic that is put together, and it's sealed. It's supposed to be weather and waterproof for its life, which I was excited about. We haven't actually physically touched the RV, which is scary. So we're not going to purchase it just over the phone. We're not going to make that mistake. But we're going to, I don't know, maybe move forward with some of those possibilities.
Yeah, it's kind of an exciting time, even though it has been depressing. It has been emotionally unstable, to say the very least.
It just sucked. It's just when you get, when you travel 4,500 miles across the country and you've got these plans and these ideas, and then all of a sudden, it all comes crashing down, and it's a huge issue. It's something that we're not filthy rich. If we were, we probably wouldn't even be in this RV, but also like we could just be like, whatever, no big deal. Like give it away or donate it or throw it in the trash. And it's not that we're not in that situation. We're not filthy rich. So we need something that's, somewhat affordable. So it's, that's probably been the most frustrating part.
But we will come back from this. I think that we have to keep that in mind, because I think that is one of the things that we have learned in this past year, as things keep coming and things just keep kind of hitting us.
Things keep breaking. That's what you need to understand about this type of lifestyle is the highs are really high and the lows are really low. And I don't know why. Like I guess it's just the path that we've chosen. I can only equate to, someone, much greater than us, is pulling the strings and making us experience these types of things to make us stronger, I guess, or give us a lot of experience.
And maybe not everybody else experiences these things like we do, and we're just the lucky chosen ones, but it definitely seems to hit us hard.
And maybe we're the type of people who can kind of withstand it.
For so long, yes.
But we're definitely going to continue. We're going to continue season 3. It might get cut short. We don't really know. But Katelyn, what are some of the mistakes that we made when we bought this RV?
Ooh, I think the biggest one that we made was we got really excited really fast, because we had been searching for so long, and every single one that we kept, like, we'd find one and we'd decide on the model, and then we're like, okay, this layout is perfect for us. It's reasonably priced. And we'd get there and it was like, are you kidding me? Like, this is nothing like what we saw online. So we drove to multiple different states to go look at a bunch of different trailers, and it was getting really stressful, and it was coming to a point where we didn't know if that we were going to be able to find something that was going to be like the perfect layout or the perfect situation for us at the time. So I think that when we found this layout and this style, it made sense, and we rushed our decision.
We definitely jumped on it, because when we first set out we kind of laid out our requirements for our RV. We went and looked at, $160,000 vans that had pop-up roofs, and we're like, I don't really want to poop in a bucket. And then we looked at some other models, like a Coleman, or we looked at even new travel trailers. Our biggest thing was when we got into some of these new travel trailers, like I would sit down in the dinette and it felt like the darn thing was going to just fall apart. And there was like drawers that you open them, and it's a brand new RV. You open the drawer and the thing just crumbles in your hand. You're like, well, this isn't going to last. Like, so when we were on this search, we really did want a pre-owned one, because we thought some of the older models, especially pre-COVID pandemic rush to build a bunch of RVs, the quality was better. And that was a mistake. That was definitely a mistake. And I think for me, one of my biggest mistakes was purchasing an RV with a slide. A slide adds a whole nother element, and it makes just a ginormous headache. We thought this layout was perfect. We thought it was great, but then 4 hours into RV life, the slide absolutely just started giving us massive headaches.
I agree. I think that the slide was a really good idea for us at the time, but the way that we're traveling, it doesn't make sense anymore. I think that we like to change our location frequently. So it's a lot of moving in and out, in and out, in and out. and there's a lot of weather components that we're dealing with that we didn't realize at the time how, I guess, the slide works like that. Like, we got to a point where we pulled the slide in one day and we're like, we just pulled the entire rain. Like, all of the exterior is now inside of our trailer. And that was kind of a shock to us.
Like so our slide is like the size of a king size bed. So the rubber seals that help keep the water out, it doesn't keep all the water out, and especially in the climate that we're in. It just is so wet. So we literally soaked the entire couch. We soaked the entire dinette, and it was just wet. And it was, and that's probably a leading problem to some of the water damage that we have. I think another mistake that we made when we went out in the search is I don't think I realized that majority, like 95% of RVs, are just built like shit. And they're truly not meant to be drug around the country. They say they can. They say they're 4 seasons. They say that they're ultralights. But all of those things, they're just really not meant to be lived in. And I underestimated that because you watch YouTube channels, you watch us, you watch, some of these other folks, and they're living out of them. Like, they're really making them their home. And a lot of these models are just meant for the weekend warriors.
I think weekend warriors, or even if it was sitting in one location, like for a month or 2 at a time, and then you move to the next location, I think that putting this many miles on our rig has made a difference as well.
Well, plus we're pretty hard on it. I mean, we've got a 5-year-old and a 100-pound German Shepherd, so it's not. Anyway, so it's just something that I think, at least I underestimated. And if I could do it all over again, I don't think I would have ever come to I still think I would have made a poor decision. Honestly, I think we would have bought a, aluminum, like ultralight RV with wood sides that is going to be, it's going to be exposed to the weather. And I think we would have still had water damage. No matter what, like, because of the climate that we pushed it in and the lack of knowledge that we have about RVs at that point in time, I did not open up my spectrum when it comes to the type of RVs. I would look at, I thought Airstreams were just nice. I didn't really think about, the aluminum sidings and the one size roof that, really eliminates some of the, water capability of coming into the RV. And then I didn't really understand the fiberglass aspect of different types of RVs. I just looked at those and I'm like, those are like a giant egg and they look ugly. Like, there's no slides. Like, there's really no full-size bed. There's just these tiny little components. And then I didn't even know about all aluminum RVs where they don't have any wood in them, or even these all these plastic ones. I had no idea. So I think if I could do it all over again, I would make the exact same mistakes. And when it comes down to it, I'm not excited about losing money. I hate losing money, but I think it's going to be a good lesson that we can teach others and help them avoid those same problems, the same mistakes we made.
One of the other mistakes that we did, so we did buy from a private party, and we thought that we did a good job in going through and inspecting everything, but we didn't.
Did not.
So we did not. We didn't see everything in use. We just took their word for it. And I think that was probably a very big mistake. And that's part of us being super excited about it as well. There are a lot of things that we missed that we shouldn't have missed.
And some of the things that Katelyn's talking about is like, you got to sit in it. And you got to spend like 2 or 3 hours and get over the excited factor, get over the, the sugary coatings and really just sit in it and spend some time inside the RV, especially used one, because you're going to start looking around and you're going to realize like, oh, like that. Why is the ceiling dipping a little bit? Like, what is that? Like, we didn't even notice that. Why is there a little bit of a soft spot in this side of the floor? Like, is that contributed to water damage? Is it just because their previous child would literally leap off the top bunk? I don't know, but there were several things that once we got it home and we spent some time in it, we're like, oh, we might have screwed this up. And we were so green and we're so new at this. Some of those things were like, yeah, whatever. That's not a big deal.
I think we went in this with the mentality that like, hey, like whatever comes our way, we can fix it. He's mostly been very handy with just about anything, and he still is. But there's some things that we need to like just take a step back and realize like, hey, like you shouldn't be fixing this. You're paying this much money for it. This shouldn't be an issue. Or bring it up and see like at least get what you pay for. Like
I don't really know what you're talking about.
Just understanding, like asking more questions when you're at, like when we went and bought Private Party, like we saw like everything that they had to go camping. Here, you can have it. So like, oh, it's a fully stocked trailer. We're good to go. Instead of taking everything out and moving everything and looking underneath everything.
Sure, yeah. Diving a little deeper into the RV. And to be honest with you, myself included, I am not a trained professional when it comes to RV inspections. I spend the $200 to have it inspected, and which is so ridiculous because we've bought several investment properties, we've bought several pieces of real estate, and we've always had an inspection. We always just spend the money and know what kind of headache we're going to have down the road. And there's things that pop up that they don't catch, but I would highly recommend spending, a few $100 and giving, taking the RV to some inspector and let them dive into it, because they're going to be an independent third party who doesn't have any emotion tied to the experiences you're going to have, because that's all we thought about. We were kind of in a rush to get back on the road, to get back traveling. And that's nothing against the people that we were staying with. It just was, we wanted to get back to creating YouTube videos. And I think that definitely put a little fog in front of us. And now we're in a position where we're a bit frustrated, but that is what it is.
I think that regardless, everything that we've said, we will come back from this and we will continue our trip and we will continue to travel. I think that's kind of where we're at.
All right. So rapid fire. Okay. What are the 3 things in the new RV that are must-haves for you?
Like the basic things would be
not toilet, shower. Sure. No, I'm talking about the 3 things that, like, besides the regular stuff, what are the 3 things that are a must for you? Do you want me to go first?
I would love you to go first because I have no idea.
An actual outdoor shower. Like something where we don't have one on this particular trailer, and I totally missed it. We in our previous RV, we had one, and like I used it all the time, and I didn't think that was such a big deal. And number 2 is no slides. I don't ever want to deal with a slide until I'm much older and much wiser. And then number 3, no wood. I don't want any freaking wood in the next RV at all. Those are my 3 things, which sounds really weird, but outdoor shower, no wood. I can't remember the second one.
No slide.
And no slide.
I agree with the no slide. 100%. The way that we travel, no slide is a must. I don't know what my others are, because everything else, like,
Katelyn literally told me, I go, you know what, we're just going to buy a teardrop trailer. She'd be like, oh, I'll make it work. I'm like, it's like 40 degrees and you're going to have to cook outside. It'll be fine. I'll dress up. And I'm like, yeah, but we're all 3 and a dog are going to have to sleep in like a twin bed. It'll be fine. And I'm like, no, it won't. Like, this is not acceptable.
I'm a little bit too easygoing at times, I guess.
She's still the same person that, booked us a campsite in the hood in New Orleans.
It's a good price. And there was fences.
Anyway, so we should probably wrap it with that. That's kind of an up-to-date version of what's going on with the Adventures 3. Look out for this Sunday's video. I'm excited about it. I want to say it's one of my better videos that I've edited, which I'm excited about. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do us a favor. Consider subscribing to our YouTube channel if you've gotten this far. It really helps not YouTube, but it really helps us show that, there are people out there that enjoy watching the content that we create, and hopefully it inspires you. And if it does, and you do have further questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. All of our social links are below, and email addresses and all that, so you can do that. But most importantly, to keep us on the road, please hit the subscribe button, and we'll talk to you next Friday.
Bye.
Bye. Cheers.